Alright, well here we've got the sprue. So first of all, we'll have a look at the bodies. This one here is the only body that doesn't have the webbing. So that one is, the bottom one is most ideal for the tank crew. You can see there the next one up is a nice sort of neutral sprue, sort of standing unsupported perhaps. And this one is leaning back. That one's quite a dynamic pose. So good perhaps for grenade throwing, and we'll have a look at that later. And this one here has got the momentum going forward, perhaps looking around the corner. And this last one here, I've got my finger on here, is sort of advancing forward. And then we go back to the kneeling body. Really useful. I wish there was more kneeling bodies in this kit actually, or I could buy another kit to get the kneeling bodies because they were that good. So just zooming in now, let's have a look at some of the detail on it. So let's have a look at the heads for a start. Really like the hair. Are really well sculpted, good for detail. Loads of helmets with the cloth covers on. That one there is the guy with the soft cap and the wireless headset. And going down, that bottom one there is the only one that's got a yelling or anything like that. All the rest are quite serene. You can see the backs of them here. So the hair ones there, you can see the one drawback of the flat sort of, one of the drawbacks of the flat neck and head sort of system that Wargames Atlantic are using, that it creates sort of prominent sort of a ledge there at the bottom of the hair, as you can just see me there. Then we've got the canteens. We've got the sidearm there for the officer. Going back down into some more, another head, bread bags, and the magazine pouches, and the Kar 98 pouches. Magazine pouches, unfortunately, this is one of my minuses for this kit. It's something like 5 SMGs in this frame, only one set of magazine pouches. Would have liked to see more, and I'll come back to that later. Go on we've got the MG42 over the shoulder. We go into the rifles as well, and other arms. There's the arm with the map, really good for creating an officer pose. A jerry can, for the tank crewman perhaps, or for a bit of kit. It seems quite chunky, that jerry can, and we'll have a look at that later. Yeah, I would have liked to see it a bit slimmer. Weapon out of the hands, it's always good for posing, and that there is the sling for the over the shoulder sort of pose with the SMG in particular. So sort of SMG over the head, over the neck, unsupported. We can see the arms there. Go back down. I do love the over-the-shoulder pose of the MG42. It's good. Of course, you don't have the earlier MG34 on here because Panzer Lehr were created later in the war. So just that option. There's the SMG just past it there now with the magazine off. And the rifle. So we're going to come on to this later. Really good sort of pose of the sling for either being slung or for gravity if it's being held, and we'll talk about that. Some more of the poses with the rifle. And going into some more of the arms with the other one's got the magazine, the bottom one for the SMG reloading, the stick grenades, the ubiquitous pointing NCO officer pose, the binos, and some more supporting poses for weapons. Going into the hands holding the Luger sidearms. Really good. If you want to have a less dynamic pose, you need to sort of cut a slice out of it, as I'll show you later. Panzerfaust are both sort of cocked. I would have liked to see the one that's not held in the hand, maybe without the sight and everything up. That would have been good to be in the carry. Got the MG42 in the carry. The ammo box held at the trail there in the left hand. There we go. Just focusing on the MG42 again. Turning it around, and just at the top here. So again, we've got the mechanic's arms there. At the top, we've got the two types of grenades. These here are the egg hand grenades in the top right corner there. Then going on, we've got the stick hand grenades. So both loose. What I would have liked to see is perhaps one of those types, and then the other bits of that sprue used for additional sets of the magazine pouches for the SMG. But apart from that, that's my one big drawback of this kit in regards to setting up your miniatures, carrying all the the kit you needed. That one there, that little piece there that you can see that just above the fingernail, so that is the additional part of the jerry can. So the centre part is moulded, the one is carried in the trail with the left hand, and that is the third sort of part of the handle there. So there you have it. It's a great sprue. Look at the detail on those bodies. Oh, they're fantastic. Really looking forward to getting those together. Hey everybody, welcome back. So here I've got some assembled examples. So what I've done is I've split the groups of assembled models that I've done up in two groups. This one here, the first one, is exactly as they would come out of the box. The only thing I have done is, where I've been a little bit unsatisfied with my own alignment of the arms versus the bodies or something like that, I've just applied a little bit of putty or filler to them. So as you can see, a wide range of poses in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to break that down further and we'll have a look at a few of the figures individually. As the first one we're going to look at a little bit closer here is the use of the real dynamic pose, the body that is leaning backwards on its rear leg. So I've used that here in order to get it into the traditional stick grenade throwing pose. You can see that I have removed the Kar98 pouches that come standard on this torso, attached to the webbing belt, and just attached or just glued on the submachine gun ammunition pouches. It's a really good pose, really dynamic. If I just rotate him around a little bit, there you can see that arm and the SMG are actually separate to each other. They're a really good fit though, really natural pose. You can see that I have put a little bit of filler on the shoulder there. That's my fault. A common thing with separate components for arms and torsos is that you can sometimes have quite a large flat space when you place an arm on if you get it a little bit off center. Just like any other set, Warlord, that's really minimised if you get it right. I just found that I wanted a little bit of twist on some of these, or a little bit forward motion or rear motion, so I've just placed a lot of these arms on and just put a bit of filler in there because I wanted a little bit something else. I just sculpted it in. But not a problem with the Wargames Atlantic set. It's just the way that I had that attached and assembled there myself, and I wasn't happy with it. So there you go, that's that one. Lovely pose. So I decided with this one that the officer's cap, soft cap, really, I thought I'd employ that, make it look like a lot of pictures I've seen of Panzer Lehr officers on the ground. So yeah, the Wargames Atlantic pieces set out beautifully. So again, the detached SMG makes it really good to put into this sort of relaxed pose here. The map and the binos, so this officer's in a really nice pose there, checking out his map. Maybe scanning the horizon, cover ahead, looking for a safe route through, some sort of a pose like that. Really good tactical pause pose. So moving on, so this one here, Panzerfaust. As we saw when you look at the frames, both the Panzerfausts that are in the set are cocked, ready to fire. This one here, I could have assembled it in a low firing position, crooked underneath the arm, maybe for the one of the kneeling models. But what I wanted to do, because of the fact it's cocked, I wanted to give it to a body with some dynamic movement and make it look as if he's quickly changing his fire position. Maybe he's taking some incoming fire to his cover and he's just quickly relocating. So it really lends itself to that. What I did is I added the face with a sort of shouting look at the open mouth. The reason for that is I just wanted to tie that in with the whole dynamic movement. One of the advantages of the Wargames Atlantic stuff is, if you look here at how naturally the rifle sling comes around the body there and comes around the front. So really naturally seated there. There's hardly any gap around it at all. One of the common things you get in plastic sets, and Warlord Games is quite guilty of this, is just putting a sling on that naturally sits out from the body or looks very awkward when put onto a sling position over the shoulder. Wargames Atlantic done a fantastic job of this here, and they really must be commended. There's almost no gaps, as you can see, between the body there, the way it goes around. It sits really naturally for a cross-slung weapon. So good pose, Wargames Atlantic, well done. So here we go, another use of the kneeling body. So what I've done here is I've taken the one of the arms with the SMGs attached. This one here is made to basically look like they are reloading. So the SMG comes without the magazine attached in this particular arm. And if I just rotate that round, you can see that the hand here has got the magazine in it, ready to place straight on to the weapon. Just rotating that back around again. One of the things that can be a little bit of a drawback in this set is that there's not enough SMG pouches for the number of arms, which is a little bit disappointing. How I've got around this is, in this particular case, I've employed one of the standard pouches there, and then you can go to your bits box, and if you've got any other 28mm SMG pouches of Germans, add them on. What I did is I did a little trick here, and I got, because I didn't have any more spare German bits on me, as I just found a bit off a bandolier, in this case from the Wargames British Airborne box set. I cut off the end 3 sections of the SMG bandolier and placed it on to the model. So bring that closer, you can see how it fits in there. It's a really nice pose. Important again, get your posing right for the head, looking down as a magazine's been attached to his weapon there. Always makes a nice finishing point to your model if you can get the head pointed in a characterful direction. There we go, we can see the use of the body, the legs, a lot of forward motion in it. I'm leaning forward significantly, show he's moving at pace. I'm scanning the ground ahead for another bit of cover. So nice, I guess not casual use of the carriage of the weapon, but just raised up slightly on an angle so that the model can move forward, taking and breaking cover. So really quite natural, and this is one of the better 28mm poses I've seen in plastic. In particular, Wargames can look a little bit less dynamic. However, this one here executes it really well. We'll just check out the side of this one. There you go, you can see all that movement in his body. And from the rear, you can see the addition of the water bottles that are in the box, just put on top of the bread bag that comes sculpted onto this model. Not all of the models had that bread bag sculpted on there, and we'll talk about that more as we go. Here's a couple of Smg Gunners. Once again, majority of this is Wargames Atlantic kit, and you can see pretty much everything you can see from the front is Wargames Atlantic. So fantastic poses, using another body shape here, the small bit of forward motion. However, if I turn them around, you can see small additions again of the Wargames kit, the trench tool, bread bags, respirator pouches, respirator cans, and the yeah, you can see that it builds up a nice individually posed model. Here we go, firing for the standing unsupported. Again, you can see the beautiful sculpting of the model. Highlights that different uniform, the assault gun uniform. The webbing pouches that have been sculpted on for the rifle. Yeah, the rifle not too slim, not too bulky. Beautiful. If I just rotate him around so you can check out the back on him. Again, we can see that this torso has got the bread bag sculpted onto him and just added the water bottle there. But yep, really good. Nice to be able to get the heads really posed nicely, looking down the weapon. Great posability. And this guy here, again, lots of forward motion in the body. Looks more like he's walking forward with a bit of a sense of urgency, but looking for somewhere, scanning for a next firing position maybe. I have placed on the arm carrying the ammo container for the machine gunner. Now this particular body doesn't come with the webbing yoke, just comes with the belt. So what I've done is I've actually specifically chosen like this because I've seen plenty of pictures like this that they've done a dismount just in belt kit. Given the fact he's going to be a little bit less mobile with the machine gunner, more likely,
But yeah, just got his water bottle attached to him, which I've moulded on there. The rifle does not come, if I just move him over a little bit for you, the rifle does not come sculpted like that on that arm. So there is an arm with the right arm hand extended like that. Now here again you can see the beauty. Remember before I spoke about how good the rifle sling wrapped around the body when it was in a cross slung sort of position. Again, this is the same rifle off the Sprue. A very slight bend taken in the back here where the tip of this pointer is, and that meant that the center of gravity was coming forward, and here when I posed it, I cut the weapon either side of the hand and then sculpted it into the hand like so. Nice and natural considering the movement as well as gravity for the rifle sling, and just shows what you can do if you really think about it and get some different poses in there. But I really enjoyed this guy. Light belt kit, yeah, really good. It's really characterful. Looks like it's just dismounted. And one of the final body shapes you can see here, this guy here, if I turn him completely front on, so he could be posed with the weight back on that back leg, but what I have done here is I have taken this body that's got the dynamic backward movement, and I've specifically leant him into that. It looks as if he's looking around the corner of a building. Awesome cover as he's stalking through. But yeah, just another use of that body. A lot of people might see it and feel like it's just limited to the one pose, the grenade throwing pose perhaps. But when put out like that, in a different pose, you can actually see that it has got some versatility. Now the bread bag and the water bottle added from the kit. Around the front. So there we go, another use of that body. Right, now what I would like to talk about is the versatility of the kit. So as you know, no kit is perfect. We have identified some things about this kit that we'd like to improve. For instance, the belt kit equipment, the respirator pouch, stuff like that, that are really missing from these sprues. However, one of the strengths of the Wargames Atlantic kits is that not only can they be used in a variety of ways, however, you can use other kits to convert them very well. And this goes particularly for Warlord Games kits. So what I want to do now is show you a few poses, a few models I've made up, combining the two kits, even if it's just a bit of equipment. So first thing I want to see here is, here's the machine gun team. There's the loader that we saw earlier in his lightweight belt kit. However, we've just added the belt ammunition here. That's a Wargames Atlantic model, apart from that belt added from the front. On the rear, what I've done is just added in some more belt kit. There's an entrenching tool, again missing from the Wargames Atlantic kit. The respirator pouch and the poncho wrapped around it there. So small additions like this. In a day, if you're going to use Wargames Atlantic kits to convert other models, well, why not have the benefits of that going the other way? Here's a couple of Smg Gunners. Once again, majority of this is Wargames Atlantic kit. And you can see pretty much everything you can see from the front is Wargames Atlantic. So fantastic poses, using another body shape here, the small bit of forward motion. However, if I turn them around, you see small additions again of the Warlord Games kit, the trench tool, bread bags, respirator pouches, respirator cans, and the, yeah, you can see that it builds up a nice individually posed model. Now the figure on the left is mostly Wargames Atlantic straight out of the box. Small adjustment to that is just again added a little bit of Warlord Games equipment under his belt kit. It's a fantastic pose. Everything apart from that is Wargames Atlantic. You can see how beautiful the models are. Look at that, sculpting that body. Now the model on the right, the Wargames Atlantic torso, head. However, a Warlord Games arms holding a rifle from the Grenadier plastic set. Now I'm the first to admit that actually these arms look pretty scrawny on those models from Warlord Games, but you can see here how well they actually suit the Wargames Atlantic model. Much better fit than the own Warlord Games model in my opinion for this particular set of arms. They always look awkward. Just turning around from the rear, you can see the remainder of it is Wargames Atlantic. So it's just that addition, and a small bit of filling in there due to the angle of the arms, not meant for the Wargames Atlantic torsos. But yeah, I think they fit very well. I hope you agree. And last model before I show you a group shot. So I showed you all the guys made up as actual Panzer Lehr troops. I wanted to show you the alternate use of this kit, which is of course making some crewmen for assault guns and the like. So you can see here, we made use of the body which I discussed earlier that doesn't have any webbing yoke on it. Let's just take a bit of a closer look at that. Took the one of the arms holding the Luger. Haven't quite sculpted him with some putty yet, so there's a little bit of a unsightly sort of gap at the shoulder. And mould line running down through there. However, what I will say about that mould line is that is as bad as it got for the Wargames Atlantic box set for these Panzer Lehr. So it's actually quite good I've shown you that one, because that's as much as I've seen in this entire kit. So what I simply did is I just rotated that Luger holding arm as well. Found a suitable head, of which there's plenty in that kit, but I just particularly like this guy's hairdo. And yeah, the arm holding onto the jerry can actually has the handle on it. It's obviously an empty jerry can, otherwise you wouldn't be carrying it around filling it. Well, mind you could be on the way back. But the way he's carrying it suggests it's empty. He's carrying it not by the centre, but the edge. So that arm has got the one part of the handle. The middle part comes sculpted on the actual jerry can itself, and the one on this side here is separate on the sprue. So don't misplace that or overlook it on the sprue. But you can see it's actually really, really nice, and another fantastic use of the bodies off the sprue. Really great to add something else to your battlefield, a nice little vignette, perhaps a mission. There are missions out there, of course, with dismounted crewmen trying to get off the board to score some points or get some victory conditions. But yeah, really, really good. Glad to have that option in the set, and I really enjoyed making this guy. It's a great use for the heads without helmets as well. Alright, there we go, guys. Bit of a family portrait time. I'm going to take some of these guys away. I'm going to get some paint on some of them, and then I'm going to bring you back and let you see what they look like painted up. See you soon. Hey everybody, welcome back. Doing a little bit of outside photography today to finish off this video. So I hope you don't mind the sounds of the birds in this park outdoor setting in Minor X's hometown. So here we go. Here's the finished Panzer Lehr. What I've done is I have chosen roughly one single pose, or more or less one pose of each. They're really nice, and sometimes it's just a pleasure to paint instead of camouflage or something like that. It's just a pleasure to paint something that's requiring lots of different tonal layers and layering up and highlighting and stuff like that. I certainly enjoyed getting these ones done. I've already described, of course, the construction of them, so really it's just about the finishing them off. Quite simple painting. If you are used to painting any sort of Germans at all, they're versus a field grey. I'll just turn this guy around in here. I'll gradually go through the others. Hopefully it'll pretty much stay in focus for us. Really nice to paint up. The folds and the definition of the folds and the uniforms is really something else.
Wholeheartedly recommend getting these. Sweep through there.